Hey players, it's Coach Cody. I wanted to record a video about something that I think is really important that happened during the Men's College World Series. That I think maybe it'll help you understand some of the things we talked about a lot during the season, and also kind of understand why we are so concerned with you all learning the game instead of just being able to hit, being able to throw, being able to field, run fast. We really want you to learn the game so that as you move up and as you keep playing, you understand situations and not even situations that coaches tell you to know, but as a player, you understand when something's happening. Here are the things maybe you need to do. So, what I thought was really interesting, the Men's College World Series just finished. The University of Oklahoma won, and they had a great run through the tournament. They had a great run through the World Series. They ended up winning the best two or three championship series against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Good on them. They won game one, lost game two, won game three. I want to focus on something that happened during game two of the College World Series Championship Series. So it was game two, it was top of the third inning. Remember, Oklahoma had won the first game. So North Carolina needed to win game two to force a game three. They ultimately did win, but they needed to win this to force a game three. So that's important. So the top of the third inning, Oklahoma is pitching, North Carolina is batting. The top of the third inning, the Oklahoma pitcher was struggling. He threw 50 pitches over 38 minutes. Now, 50 pitches is a lot. We definitely have had some games where we haven't thrown 58 pitches, or um, we have had some half innings that we were in the field a long time, or we were at bat a long time, right? So either way, like any way you think about it, the pitcher was really, really struggling. He threw 50 pitches and he was out on the field for 38 minutes. The fielders were in the field for 38 minutes. That's a really, really long time to be in the field during a game. So after that inning was over, the pitcher did come back and he struck out the final two batters with bases loaded. So he got some momentum going away from that inning. But in the bottom of the third inning, Oklahoma batters um, only saw four pitches over 3 minutes. So they were in the field for 38 minutes and then building from whatever type of momentum the pitcher had for striking out the final two North Carolina batters in that inning. Instead of being able to carry that momentum forward, the Oklahoma batters, they made three outs on four pitches. So that meant that I think there was one ball thrown, and then there were three first strike contacts. Um, and that half inning only lasted 3 minutes. So now all of a sudden your pitcher, after throwing 50 pitches, only had 3 minutes, maybe about 5 minutes, including the half inning warm up, to rest. So as a as a Oklahoma batter, you wanted to one make the North Carolina pitchers throw more pitches to get them tired. Remember, we've talked about that a lot. We want to bat more. We want to take more time batting than we do pitching. We want to be efficient in the field. We want to throw the least amount of pitches needed to get the outs when we are in the field. We want to make the opposing pitchers throw the most amount of pitches possible to us to get those outs. So we can put the pressure on the defense and we're not in the field as long with the pressure on us. So what Oklahoma batters should have done, they should have seen more pitches, right? But they saw one ball and then they made contact on three straight strikes, all for outs. So that half inning only lasted 3 minutes. So I made note of that and I was writing all of that down for this. But then following up in the top of the fourth inning, so Oklahoma goes back out. They're pitching, they're in the field after having just been out for 38 minutes and their pitcher having to throw 50 pitches in the top of the third. They go back out. That's not a great situation that they're in. However, what happens is They actually made 3 outs on 7 pitches. And here's how it happened. The first batter saw 4 straight balls. So it was a 4 pitch walk. Um, then the next batter comes up. They have a ball thrown to them. So all of a sudden now we have 5 straight pitches that have been balls. The pitcher has not thrown a strike yet. The North Carolina batter then the Oklahoma pitcher then throws a strike. The North Carolina batter, instead of letting that strike go and making the pitcher prove that he can throw strikes consistently and not helping out the pitcher, he makes contact on that first strike, which was the 6th pitch of the inning, and he grounds into a double play. So all of a sudden now you have the Oklahoma pitcher having thrown 6 pitches, 5 of which were balls, but now has 2 outs. And then the next batter gets up for North Carolina, and on the first pitch, which was a strike, they fly out. They hit a pop fly. So after throwing 50 pitches, then the Oklahoma pitcher was able to come out and only throw 7 pitches, 5 of which were balls. Remember, we talk about wanting to put the pressure on the pitcher and not being afraid to go deep into a count when you need. And I've talked individually with people about if you are an early pitch hitter, if you are a late count pitch hitter, if you can go deep into a count, if maybe you need to swing earlier, and that's all fine. But here are 2 things that I want to leave everybody with. One is don't help a pitcher out, right? Don't help the pitcher out by swinging at something that we shouldn't swing at. And if they've thrown 4 or 5 or 6 pitches in a row that are balls, we don't want to swing at the next strike, right? Because that could be just helping them out. We could hit into a situation where all of a sudden now we've helped that pitcher out who is really, really struggling rather than putting the pressure on them. You think about when we were in games when we were successful and we scored a lot of runs, a lot of that had to do with the fact that we were patient at the plate and we would put runners on the bases. So we might walk 1 or 2 people on the bases. And so then all of a sudden, if we get a hit, instead of it just being a single, now it's a single where we scored a run or two. Or maybe it's a double where we scored 2 runs off of that. And that is because those previous, or the 2 hitters before that hit, they were patient. So that's something that we want to do. And the last thing that I'll leave you with is this is a good rule of thumb at every level. They talk about it in Major League Baseball as well. If the batter in front of you gets out on 1 pitch, you don't want to get out on 1 pitch. So if the person in front of you makes contact on the first pitch and they ground out, you as a batter, what you want to do is you don't want to swing at the first pitch. So maybe you want to let the first strike go, even if you are somebody who is like an early count hitter. You really don't want to swing at that first pitch if it's a strike. You want to try to make the pitcher throw a few more pitches. Now, sometimes we've played pitchers that they're just really on that day and they're throwing strikes, and there's nothing you can really do about that. However, if somebody's struggling, you don't want to help them out. And if the person in front of you has gotten out on 1 pitch, what you want to do is you want to try to make that pitcher throw a few more pitches to you. Even if that's 1 or 2 more pitches to you, that's 1 or 2 more that they've had to throw that we don't know. Maybe it'll come back and help us later in the game because they're tired or because there's more pressure put on the defense or things like that. Okay. So hopefully this makes sense. Watch it. If you have questions, have your parents reach out. No. All right. Thanks, players.